What if I told you that there's a town in Idaho where the entire city is placed on the National Register of Historic Places? It is officially declared the center of the universe, and it's sitting on top of 1.2 billion ounces of silver. Today, we are exploring Wallace, Idaho, a place that most people drive right past on I-90 without realizing that they are missing one of America's greatest hidden gem towns. Welcome back to the Rock Record. Let's talk rocks. I'm Jess, and as a geologist who has explored mining districts all over the world, I can honestly say that Wallace and the whole Silver Valley is one of my top 10 favorite places in the world. But here's the thing. Many people have never heard of it. Or if they have, it's because they see the sign on the interstate, but they never bother to stop. Wallace sits in the heart of Idaho's Silver Valley, or what's known as the Coeur mining district. This isn't just any old mining town. We are talking about the place that has produced more silver than almost anywhere else on Earth. But beyond the geology and mining history, Wallace has this incredible charm that makes it feel like you step back into the Wild West. So I'm going to show you my perfect day here in Wallace and honestly a couple other spots in the Silver Valley. With my geology and mining background, this visit might be a little bit different than other guides to the town that you may have already seen. We'll go underground in an actual silver mine, explore museums filled with mining artifacts, visit a memorial that tells one of the most important safety stories in mining history. And yes, we of course will stand at the official center of the universe. Plus, I'll give you all the practical tips you need to plan your own visit to this incredible place. Let's go. Okay, so before we dive into all of the amazing things to do here, let me give you a little geological backdrop that explains why Wallace is here in the first place. So what do you think created conditions for so much silver to concentrate in this one valley? The answer goes back about 1.5 billion years ago when this entire region was covered by an ancient sea. Sediments from that sea would eventually become the rocks that we see in the mountains here today. But the real magic happened much later. Around 15 million years ago, massive geological forces created fractures and faults into these rocks. Hot mineral-rich fluids flowed through these fractures, depositing silver, lead, and zinc in concentrated veins. What makes the Coeur d'Alene mining district so special is that these veins are incredibly rich. Some of the richest silver deposits ever discovered. Gold was first discovered just north of here in 1882, but it was the silver that really put Wallace on the map. By 1884, Colonel William R. Wallace, yes, the town's namesake, had established what he called Placer Center right here. But here's what makes Wallace really special, especially in my eyes. This isn't just about the past. Mining operations like the Lucky Friday and Galena are still active in this area today. And historic operations like Bunker Hill and Sunshine are currently being evaluated for potential future operations. Wallace shows us how mining heritage and modern mining and tourism can work hand in hand, creating both jobs for the community and incredible experiences for visitors like us. All right, let's dig into it. As always, when available, we are starting with the local museum to dig into the history and improve our understanding of this area. So let's go. Oh, it's not dark anymore. What makes this museum special is that it's not just displaying artifacts, it's telling the human stories of the people who lived and worked here. You'll see everything from early prospecting tools to modern mining equipment. What's interesting is seeing how mining here has evolved over time. The techniques, safety standards, and technology have completely transformed. but the fundamental importance of these materials to our daily lives remains the same. This is where things get really exciting. We are about to go underground 1,000 feet into an actual silver mine. The Sierra Silver Mine offers one of the most authentic underground mining experiences that you can have as a tourist here in the valley. And we all know I'm a sucker for a good underground mine tour. This is definitely a must-stop when you are in Wallace, and there are no excuses to skip it. The location is super easy to find. You can book ahead online, and you don't even need to drive your own car up to the site. Instead, they take you on this great little trolley ride through town and talk about the history of Wallace and things that are happening here, which is so cool. I really enjoyed that part.
Deepest I've ever been underground is 4,000 feet. See the Oasis Bordello Museum. This is our courthouse. It's made out of mine tailings. People come from far and wide to lay down in the middle of the highway and have their pictures taken with a manhole cover.
What I love about the tour here is that it's run by actual miners who worked in these tunnels. They're not just tour guides. They are sharing their real lived experiences, and they have some crazy stories to tell for sure. Here we go.
Dynamite breaks to the point of least resistance. Those lights, that's the way it blasts. Now you see these? They go last. And you go to work.
If you look closely in the walls, you might actually see the silver-bearing ore veins running through the rock. The dark bands might contain galena, which is a lead sulfide, and the silver is actually contained within the galena crystal structure. The physical demands of this work were incredible, and they still are, even though they're a little bit easier today. If you can, try and imagine doing this every single day in conditions that are sometimes hot, humid, dark, and occasionally dangerous. It really gives you a new appreciation for the people who built the American West and those who are still mining for our natural resources every single day.
Don't put that
I don't have a pocket. You usually have a pocket here.
That comes from the galena.
This one? Okay, I'll take a galena one then. Now you should know me well enough to know that I am not going to give you every little bit of this tour because I want you to go experience it for yourself, but I will give you some great tips to visit. During the summer months, the tour is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. 7 days a week. The tour lasts about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and tours depart from the ticket office every 30 minutes. Interestingly enough, minors of all ages are allowed on this tour, with adults being $20, children from 4 to 16 being $10, and children under 4 years old are free. I do believe closed-toed shoes are required, and I definitely recommend bringing a light jacket as the mine temperature is around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. This tour isn't strenuous by any means, but it's also not completely accessible either. It is a little bit muddy, it can be slippery in spots, and there is walking involved, so keep that in mind. During the summer months, I definitely recommend booking online. We walked into the first tour of the day, which was fantastic, but the tour after ours was completely booked and that trolley was full. So I definitely recommend checking it out online and booking ahead if possible. After visiting both the museum and taking the underground tour, we head to one of the most important stops in Wallace, the Sunshine Mine Memorial. This isn't just a tourist attraction, it is a place that changed American mining safety forever. This memorial commemorates the 91 miners who lost their lives in the 1972 Sunshine Mine disaster. This was the United States' worst mining disaster since the Granite Mountain Speculator Fire in 1917. But from this tragedy came major improvements in mine safety regulations that protect miners across the country today. If you visit Wallace, please take time to read the stories at this memorial. These weren't just statistics. They were fathers, sons, brothers, and friends who were part of this community. Okay, now for something completely different. In 2004, Wallace's mayor officially declared the city to be the center of the universe. And before you ask, yes, they were completely serious about this tongue-in-cheek declaration. This whole thing started as a response to the EPA's Superfund designations in the area. The mayor essentially said that you can't prove that Wallace isn't the center of the universe and made it official. You've got to admire the attitude. The middle of the street is a dangerous place to put that. If you look at the initials on the cover, HL, CDE, SRLM, and BHM, they represent the 4 major mining companies that shaped this region: Hecla Mining, Coeur d'Alene Precious Metals, Sunshine Silver Mine, and Bunker Hill Mining Company. It's a perfect symbol of how this community's identity is built around mining heritage. What I love about Wallace is this sense of humor and resilience is literally everywhere. The entire town is on the National Register of Historic Places, which means these buildings have been preserved exactly as they were during the mining boom days. And there's a fun story behind that too that you'll have to visit to discover yourself. And here's a fun fact that movie buffs will appreciate. The 1997 film Dante's Peak, starring Pierce Brosnan, was filmed right here in Wallace. So if you've seen that movie, you've actually already seen Wallace. Although in the movie it was covered under a pretty solid layer of ash. And yes, I have a whole video on Dante's Peak coming out soon, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that one. Although, truthfully, the movie kept me away from hot springs for a long time as a child, so I have some trauma from that. Let's talk about planning your visit to Wallace. The best time to come is definitely spring through fall, like late May through September. This gives you the best weather and ensures all of those awesome mine tours are operating. For accommodations, Wallace has some fantastic historic hotels right downtown. I would definitely recommend booking in advance, especially during the summer months. For food, I think we pretty much ate at every single restaurant in Wallace, and I found them all to be pretty delicious and reasonably priced, which was pretty surprising. Be sure to keep an eye out on the menu for some hidden gems particular to Wallace. I especially liked the Dante's Peak poutine, and of course, anything with huckleberries in it. And of course, you have to stop at Wallace Brewing. It's just a must. Getting here is actually part of the adventure. Wallace sits right on Interstate I-90, but the real treat is taking some of the scenic routes through the Coeur d'Alene National Forest. And if you're feeling adventurous, the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes is a 73-mile paved trail that runs right through Wallace that is perfect for biking or walking if you're into that. I personally am not. But if you are coming through I-90 and are interested in what you're seeing around you, I have a whole video of the geology of I-90 out, so be sure to check that out here. Now, if you're thinking, Jess, I'm still not sure that there's enough to do here to warrant a visit. First off, you're insane. Just kidding. But there is a lot more to do here. I highly recommend visiting the Oasis Bordello. This was an unexpected stop on our trip because we had some spare time, and honestly, it was so much fun. You can also hike the Pulaski Tunnel Trail and learn about the story of the fire that happened here. Take in a show at the 6th Street Melodrama Theater. This is an outdoor activities haven. Nearby is a mountain bike or ski resort. You can go snowmobiling in the winter, hiking in the summer, etc. If you're feeling really adventurous, you can climb the 800 stairs in Wallace on their little stair trail. Just like Bisbee, I will not be doing that. There are also a lot more museums nearby. I really loved the Spragpool Museum up in Murray, the Captain John Mullen Museum in Mullen, and the Shoshone County Mining and Smelting Museum in Kellogg. There are a few safety notes. If you are planning on going on a mine tour, they do require closed-toed shoes and long pants. If you're planning to explore any of the surrounding forest areas, let someone know your plans and bring plenty of water. It does get hot here in northern Idaho. Wallace, Idaho, and honestly the whole Silver Valley is proof that some of America's best destinations are the ones that most people have never heard of. In one small town, you get world-class mining history, authentic Western charm, incredible geology, and again, the official center of the universe. I cannot stress that enough. From a geological perspective, Wallace reminds us how much the Earth's processes have shaped human history. The silver deposits that created this community formed over millions of years, but their discovery changed thousands of lives in just a few decades. So I'm curious, what is the most interesting small town that you've ever discovered on a road trip? Drop a comment and let me know. If you have enjoyed discovering Wallace with me, be sure to subscribe to The Rock Record for more adventures that combine geology, history, and travel. And be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next geological journey. Until I see you next week, keep exploring the stories written in stone.